Alright, everyone. Today, I promise, today is the day. Doesn't matter how long it takes, I'm closing it out. We are finishing today in this video. The hierarchy. Let's do it. Well, now that that's over and done with, I would like the sinners to come gather around here. Oh, and I place the sinners in single file before him and began. Now the regular checkup is complete. We finally have enough data to compare your pre-employment statuses to those of your current selves. Which means, indeed, we are able to measure your pre-employment combat capabilities as well. Oh, and what are your conclusions? Allow me to preface this by saying that there isn't much significance in establishing this particular hierarchy of power on a linear scale. Like I said, you were all equally mediocre at the present anyway, and... oh, there's plenty of significance, all right. We've all got to know who's the big boss. While this is but a speculation of the worst-case scenario, we must know which one of us has the most rights and authority to lead the rest of the sinners in case our executive manager becomes, due to some unknown yet inexactable circumstances, unavailable. Otis won't betray us, guys. Hey, that's, I don't listen to anyone weaker than I am. What if there's a reason I was the first one asked to introduce himself? There was a burgeoning interest among the sinners to see which one of them would be at the apex of this scale. Were they to be measured by their strengths prior to their employment? Hey, maybe before I lost my memories even, Dante, don't. It is interesting how every collective has the desire to get a clear picture of the pecking order. A negative expression of this desire may even lead to juvenile behaviors among children. For example, stealing their colleagues' lunches for meager reasons such as scoring higher than they did on a test. You're not speaking from personal experiences, are you? Thus, I believed that trying to conceal the outcome of the test from you would be quite meaningless. Each of your placements in that line you are standing in signifies that very order you were so curious to know. I do not wish to waste any more breath on this subject. There's a long, long silence. Then the sinners all simultaneously turn to look at the person standing in the frontmost position of the line. This has to be the longest, most awkward, loaded silence I've ever felt in my life. Much did I wish to hold shrouded in my fathoms, yet I yearn still to convey that we all more than meets the eye. Yet there remains a certain abundance within my heart. Perhaps the tests of this day may paint a picture of both of my qualities. Thus spoke I, Yi-Sang. Yi-Sang? I will place trust in the faith that all of you shall one day sprout wings as I have. Yi-Sang, it's the other way around. Ah, yes, the line was made from my point of view. From here, the sinner wielding that oversized lance is one at the front of this line. Poor Yi-Sang. Well, you said some cool words though. We got this, right, Yi-Sang? Oh, man, come on. Can we get Yi-Sang a power up, guys? Deserves it. Well, 'tis quite the bashful occasion. To be the center of such fervent attention of one such company. I wouldn't say fervent is the right word. Worried, maybe. I shall be vigilant. No one seemed to have any objections or doubts about who the strongest sinner was, given the earlier event. On second thought, it appeared that it would be best if we left the command to Ishmael, as I have done so far. Otis mumbled through gritted teeth. Forsooth, I am in agreement. I am more partial to roles as a defending fixer or a squire. 'Tis oft the case that such side characters enjoyed greater popularity since time immemorial. Blah. Very happy to see this discussion not coming to blows. Now, are you ready to move on from this? Wait a minute. Aren't we all forgetting something pretty important? That's just how the world works, Greg. No one remembers anyone beyond the first place and the last place. I even forgot my own placement in the order. Damn it! They're not giving us a concrete canon list. Damn it. No, I mean, fellas, I wasn't even a part of the list. Oh, were you not? Who cares, mate? There's 12 of us. Some people just fall out of the radar. Big deal. Let's just get on with it. Hey, you can't just disregard me like swatting away a fly. I'd guess somewhere around my level, probably. Or Heathcliff's. Ishmael replied in a voice that clearly lost all interest in the discussion. Ah, you're the center with the bizarre insectoid arm. We had no choice but to place you in the least favorite category of all researchers. Exceptions. Ugh. Ugh. They really hate that, huh? In other words, you are a unique case that cannot be well placed in a list or scale. To do so would be irresponsible. I'd say you carry a certain potential. That, potential, is it? Does that mean I could I also be first place if all goes well? It could very well be the reverse, given the definition of potential. Let not this query harrow your mind, Gregor. Your day will come. Feels funny, getting consoled by the guy you placed last. That's amazing. That's funny, though. They didn't want to give us a concrete list, and Gregor is an exception. Which, for me, that is telling me they have plans to revisit Gregor. I mean, we've all known it. Outcast Chapter 1 of Limbus Company, Canto 1, I mean, was not, like, the best for Gregor being its main focus. Like, yeah, he got some good development, but, like, it's nowhere near the level that, like, Ishmael and Don and Heathcliff and, you know, they got. So I fully expect them to revisit Gregor and Rodian at some point. We've already been getting Rodian snippets, but Gregor is now getting some too. New classification codes. Let's see. After some time passed, next we must discuss the classification numbers. We have been assigning risk levels for distortions just as we have for abnormalities. The observation logs you have written for us were of great help, of course. My researchers struggled to parse the handwriting of certain sinners, however, but it was good data all the same. We once had a 3-hour debate over a letter. Even that bloody governess gave up on trying to fix my handwriting. Heathcliff grinned proudly and wiped the side of his nose. As you must all be well aware, the current system of classification numbers has a rather significant oversight. Because abnormalities were creations of the former L Corp, our classification system has to be lifted whole from their system. However, the criteria by which the former L Corp measured the risk levels was the amount of their energy production. At a correlation of sorts, it was often the case that the more aggressive abnormalities produced more energy, but their destructive capabilities were not a part of the criteria, despite the correlation. Very true. That is why certain abnormalities were assigned relatively lower risk levels, despite their potential to kill even multiple higher-ranked employees. Yeah, we know a few of those. They were an energy company at the end of the day. It makes sense that their priority would be to measure the energy output. However, here, both abnormalities and distortions must be suppressed via direct confrontation. Thus, the former L Corp's classification system is rather incongruent with our purposes. I once heard someone say that we should be wary of people who drone on and on in the intro. Thus, it became necessary for us to reorganize the distortions, risk levels, and classification codes. Wow. How interesting. So whose job is that going to be? I am rather taken aback by the naivete with which you asked me that question. Us. It's us, sinners, without the right to refuse, was it? Wait a sec. Aren't you just offloading your own work onto us? A privilege given to researchers. Oi, oi, don't be so ignorant, yeah? This is all just, in order to research the distortions, right? We gotta... The other way around, assistant. We've got to do research into distortions in order to solve them better. It's elementary shite. Owenheim's really got you wrapped around his finger, you know that? According to the LCD on-site investigative reasoning team leader, the progression of a distortion is much like that of a disease. The fate of an abnormality awaits at the end of the distortion phenomenon, after all. When a distortion progresses into an abnormality, all pre-existing individualities are erased, replaced with the totality of an abnormality. Thus, it is impossible to bring back a distortion that is already transformed into an abnormality. I mean, we already knew that, but they just confirmed it. It will no longer have that reversibility that they once had in the distortion phase. So, a distortion like that Time Ripper fellow will eventually become abnormality too, if left untouched. If you're referring to the subject HE6PI2001, then yes. This is simply a prediction, of course, because that particular subject isn't contained here. I cannot say with absolute certainty that its progression into an abnormality will be observed. Correct assessment. Oh, didn't Limbus Company collect the Time Ripper? We hoped we would, but T-Corp was very adamant about their claim over the entity. To the point in which they refused to sit at the negotiation table. I found their time-ripping ability quite fascinating, but sometimes I must know when to cut my losses, I suppose. Wait, so that HE something is the new classification code format? Indeed. Because it is difficult to identify and observe the origin and the shape of a distortion, we decided to forego that information and instead replace them with their sin affinities and their expected damage scale. Sin affinities. PI must refer to Pregretia, Sloth. It appears that the classification now mimics the classification of the Pecatula. They do indeed follow the same thought process. If we're being technical here, I wouldn't say it quite mimics it. It would be more accurate to say that, as the Pecatula are once the origins of the distortion phenomenon and its byproducts, affinities can be transferred one-to-one. What's the expected damage scale? Combat capability, I'm guessing. I remember them saying that the risk levels were determined based on the enkephalin production rates, which is not the most meaningful information to us who have to fight them directly. They're finally filling in for like people who may not have known or understood how and why the classification happens. Now they're finally like putting a standard on it that everybody now is updated to. It was a tad inconvenient to put a nebulous idea like combat capabilities into a singular numerical scale of power. Certain identities have idiosyncrasies and variables that may make such a linear measure quite meaningless. So, instead, we decided to measure the expected amount of damage that Limbus Company personnel might suffer should they engage these entities in battle. While this Time Ripper poses very little threat against the sinners due to your idiosyncrasies, the unique nature of their weapon means they can be immediately deal a nigh-fatal blow to anyone from the LCC department with a single strike. That is why this distortion was given a rather high expected damage scale of 6, from a scale of 1 to 10. Please do note that this is not a perfect system, and that these values are there only as a reference, of course. Will this standard be applied to abnormalities as well? We have plans to do so, yes. Risk level and expected damage scales will be coming before their classification codes. Speaking of which, I have something to show you all. What is it? What else, other than the monolith? One with the highest potential values among Limbus Company's business. Thus, the development of transportation, management, and processing methodologies of the monolith is a glowing achievement indeed. The artifact, by its very nature, poses a great danger. I hesitate to embrace its use so willingly. A great danger. But wouldn't you say that we are beset by dangers all the time? The arbitrariness in deciding how dangerous something is comes from the degree in which it poses a risk. So you must already know the monolith here is a device that can force a distortion. It is scattered throughout the city, just like the Golden Bow, at first only in possession of the fingers and syndicates of the backstreets, to now being collected by companies both large and small and nameless, like a plague. Frick. Okay, so it's confirmation. There's more monoliths, and they are now being collected and used to make distortions as weapons. Oh my god, that's the potential there, like he mentioned. The potential is nightmarish for future encounters. We also learned that they become rather high priority targets for some wings out there. As luck would have it, we managed to begin our research expedition and collection of the monolith much earlier than the others. Now, we are already at the stage in which we may partake in the processing and the sales of these artifacts, expanding our business ventures. You could say that we narrowly avoided the very unsavory fate of having to tussle with the wings for the possession of these artifacts. Because we may have had have to confront the wings directly if that were the case. Asking out of pure curiosity here, what would happen if we were ever assigned to a city threat level? Ishi, how about we don't ask questions we don't ever want to find out the answers to? I mean, what if we, due to some contractual shenanigans, end up going against the associations? I think it'd be a good thing to know ahead of time, just in case. Seems like a question worth entertaining to me. Yeah, everyone wants to know the freaking pecking order. Let's see, from Canard to Star of the City, I suppose your assignment would be somewhere between Urban Plague and Urban Nightmare. I knew it. Yes, that's kind of where I figured them. I think they are at least Urban Nightmare level. Personally, they have been fighting things that are kind of almost near Star of the City. But between Urban Plague and Urban Nightmare does sound about right. Also, frick, think about what that implies for, you remember the different levels of Ruina? How crazy they go post Urban Nightmare? God, it's gonna be nuts, and I can't wait for it. Not Star of City yet, are we? It almost sounds as if you want to be given a threat level. It's true that you, upon first sight, due to your revival powers and the potential of the identity technology, may appear to pose a rather troublesome risk. However, you have a very clear and obvious weakness. Indeed, all of our advantages will be moved upon the manager's death. It's true. Hohenheim slowly turns to look at me, prompting Faust and the other sinners to follow suit. What if we protected them, though? I am impressed by your optimism, given the kinds of enemies you have faced thus far. We don't even need to go so far back in time to discuss the incidents with the fixer Siegfried or Big Brother Ricardo I read from your reports. Should the third sinner suddenly seek to attack the manager with her full might, do you truly believe that the rest of you would be enough to protect them? No. The flow of this world is that the manager will be preserved, that no such thing may come to pass. That's enough, Hohenheim. Any further divulgence and Faust will open a disciplinary committee to discuss the consequences of your careless words. Because the flow of the world... The flow of the world is that the manager will be preserved. Destiny, the frickin' threads of the city, like the index. There's some fate things going on. Not there yet, are we? Very well. Whichever is the case, you do have the potential to become a star of the city at some time in the future. But do remember that it would be best if you could avoid that unfortunate designation. And please, don't forget that this is only true as long as you have Limbus Company's backing. Oh boy. Love that. What a good lore bomb to drop. The final checkup. Dungeon boss. Alrighty. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, let's go. You're fine. You're fine. Faust is fine. I'm gonna take my A team in, so Blood Fiends are a go. Everyone else can be getting me rep. Yeah, don't have yours yet. Okay. Let's do it.
꽃을 피워볼까요?
We're almost done with the regular checkup. Finally, we have a chance for you to overcome an adversary based on what you have learned thus far. And for me to prove my hypothesis. What hypothesis is he talking about? No need to worry. My hypotheses have never been wrong, most of the time. Perfect. This experiment is entirely my own design and supervision. And I will faithfully follow my own pure curiosities and instincts as a researcher. Is he gonna Guys, I have a feeling we're not going to like where this goes. Now, do you see this monolith here? Yep, I do. That's a monolith, alright, but... don't you worry. My researchers will be the ones to activate the artifact. Activate the artifact? Not on you. Relax. I understand that none of you would be willing participants to this experiment. I swear, if you're gonna force us to distort saying that we have no rights to refuse or something, I'm gonna... Yeah, hang on. I can't let you do that, even as your assistant. Yes, but if you must, we are willing to send the weakest sinner among us for... forget I said that. That was foolish of me to say. I will be the subject of the experiment myself. You're going to distort yourself? Am I hearing you right? Aren't you curious to see what kind of distortion you'd end up becoming? I'm sure this is a question you have all entertained at least once. No, I ain't curious. It ain't a very pleasant experience either. Yeah, he got a pretty good look at what that could look like. Stop gritting your teeth like that, assistant. It'll have an adverse effect to your long-term dental health. What if you just end up turning into a Pecatulum? You'd end up becoming a Pecatulum, just another one of the fodder we slaughtered our way through for the tests earlier. You're risking that? It is indeed a possibility. It would signify nothing more than my very own limitations. Just a mediocre shell. If such an incident comes to pass, these employees will transport me to a containment unit. We even made a bet on what kind of Pecatulum I would turn into. He bet on Goulet, I on Invidide, and her on Pigritier. But how could you? Think about it like this. If I were to become a Pecatula, it would be akin to losing at a game of chance. Of course, what counts as a loss may depend on what I, at the precise time considering to be losing. But the mere fact of turning into a Pecatulum relieves me of any value to life. I'd say he was becoming too hard on himself, but that felt like too simple an expression to describe his tone. The company will most likely attempt to transport me to a containment unit, but I disagree with that decision. I would like to ask you to dispose of me on this spot. I am well aware that I am not the kind of congenial person who earns others' favors at first meeting, if at all. I don't believe that our brief relationship has been the most amicable kind. Therefore, I see little reason why you would hesitate to cut me down. Of course, sinners. Of course, sinners with gentler hearts like this young Sinclair here may express certain distaste against this decision. But once I become Pecatulum, it may as well mean that Hohenheim, the entity, has ceased to be. So I hope no unnecessary emotions like guilt clouds your judgment in killing the Pecatulum, a mere byproduct. But what if something unexpected happens? We're talking about your life here. Don't you have any manuals with backup plans, or... This is a very simple matter. Nothing more than a coin flip. Heads or tails. It appears that you are still insisting on your absurd 50-50 theory. I am a researcher who wishes to humiliate the field of mathematical statistics, unlike the general lay of the academia. I believe there is a certain romanticism to research. It's much more exciting to run as many tests and gain as many samples as we can than to be stuck behind at a desk, poring day and night over books and papers, isn't it? If it's tails, then you may dispose of me immediately, and the employees here will take care of the rest. Don't forget to destroy the key inside that coat pocket and the files inside my cabinets, for example. Yes, we remember. If I were to successfully distort, we would be halfway to success. My, for the first time, I am feeling quite the envy of you all. I wish I could be witness to my very own distortion. Huh? You've been paying attention to my lectures. Perhaps you could even come up with a classification code for my distortion too, going by the standards we have discussed earlier. Not that I have a very high expectation that you would. I've recently come to realization that people nodding along to my words is not a signifier of comprehension, but instead an expression of social necessity, societal niceties. Nods. Then, the manager here will open the entrance to my dungeon of the fathoms, and you will progress through the mirror dungeon as you have always done when facing a distortion. Reach into its deepest fathoms to face my distortion once again. I wish you the best of luck in your suppression efforts. Hexasection. And once you've made it that far, it is likely you would find me unconscious, or, if luck would have it, conscious. Unconscious? Are you sure this is safe? A degree of case-by-case variance is to be expected. It may take some time for a full recovery, but it will happen, should you succeed. That reminds me, how's this bamboo-hatted Kim? That's how this bamboo-hatted Kim was brought back as well. He's back. Bamboo-hatted Kim has recovered. He is safely contained within our facilities. Ah, seems they're ready to activate the monolith. I am confident that I, even at a distortion, will be quite the exceptional specimen. Hang on, just like that? You're not a Pecatulum. Indeed. And I can still hear them. Yes, I remember. I still do. I know he'll be back, but gosh, this is pretty unnerving. Don't worry, we'll bring him back no matter what. The manager says that we will bring him back no matter what. Sure sounds like a dependable sort, this manager of yours. Very well. Please take a look at this. Is this a note? Did he write his tips on how to do this or something? He says that all of you have to do is read what's on this note in front of his distortion. Apparently, it's some kind of a code. I don't think he'll hear anything but ticking noises from me. Can you read this, Merceau? It will be done as you commanded. Merceau nodded, then began reading the words from the note aloud. Lobotomy Corporation. 5 minutes. Potentiality. Anticipation. Right-handed. The moment Merceau uttered them, the all too familiar portal began to appear around Hohenheim's distortion, as though they were a key to a door. Scattering shards of familiar yet alien sights appeared intermittently beyond the shimmering wall or veil. Hohenheim had already entered the portal as we stood there gawking. We could still hear his voice echoing through the laboratory. I suppose I'll be forced to share my past here. Past I never wanted to share. A past no one cares to learn about. It is something I must endure for the sake of this experiment. However, I needn't expose every little detail of it. It's all in the past now anyway, isn't it? He worked for Lobotomy Corp. Oh, the music. Music's great. Love the L-Corp music. Oh boy, would you look at this? Ah, oh my. Yes, very good. Okay. Hohenheim's Fathoms. Okay, we can take an ego gift. Alright. Blunt, rupture, keywordless. Oh, burn, rush. Oh, well. Combat boots, the spay. I'll take keywordless. Yeah, I'll take it. It's fine. Damage up. It's good. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Let's do it. What's going on with them? Good. It appeared that I can censor these with my own will, at least to a degree. Your mission here is to classify my distortion, reach the end of this dungeon of the Fathoms, and bring me back. Your mission, however, does not involve digging into my past. This is... It appears that we have a passing familiarity with this place. You, us. What is it that they seek to convey? I don't believe any level of probable communication will be feasible, given that you are in a dungeon of the Fathoms. Well, then do something about it. I regret to tell you that the setting of this dungeon is out of my hands. Had it been up to me, I would have manifested a place that was much more fascinating than this. Like that library, fabled to have every book in existence. You used to work for Lobotomy Corporation? One of my past careers, yes. Us. Diplomacy did not seem to be an option here. The censored people brandished their weapons threateningly and stood in our path. Looks like we're gonna have to take them down if we want to make any progress here. It can't be helped. Let's get ready for a fight. Oh boy, look at these backgrounds. I love it. I love how warped it is. Looks great. Oh, look at these guys. Cool. Oh, they're the sheep. Yeah, they got the sheep distortion. Oh, this theme too.
가족을 위해.
Nice. Good hits. Don't like the sanity loss, but it's, you know, it is what it is.
그쪽도 죄인인가? 합격장. 영원히 잠들어.
Ow.
따뜻한
Damn. They hurt. I had to let Dawn carry this. Now there we go. We're good.
대가리 딱 떼고.
영원히 잠들어라. 영원히 잠들어라.
이쁘네. 네 피분수.
I mean, once we get our sanity up, like, it'll be fine, of course. Like, that's the main thing, you know? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Why wouldn't it be? Both of these are just Hohenheim's Fathoms. I'll do this one. Come across a group of researchers passionately poring over various documents. I have to give two subjects, emotions and flame. Let's work. Wrathful emotions. Alright, use sample. So try this on. Sure, I'll take a Yuko gift, sure. Nice. Synchronization rate. Reignition plug. Ooh, hello. Base Essos inflicts burn. Count deal 20% more damage. Make burn, inflict 1 defense all down. Oh, pretty good. Make burn, starting off sub, leaving that surprising. Yeah, okay, yeah, no. It made for a burn team, huh? We also saw from the newest show from Project Moon that Yi Sang is getting a burn ID. It's actually finally Burn's time. It's crazy. Burn is now a team that will exist. It's crazy. So how do we know this guy actually distorted? He doesn't sound any different from his usual self. Sanity degradation due to distortion affects every subject differently. I mean, yeah, but censoring his own fathoms? But Hohenheim, you're in a dungeon of the fathoms. We will see through it with Dante's powers, whether you want to show us or not. You make a fair assessment. How about this, then? If you are to see them anyway, allow me to save you the trouble and give you a quick rundown instead. Come visit me as soon as you finish watching my tale. This tale began when that man walked into my laboratory. Yes, I had a personal laboratory all to myself. One of the few perks of being an elite researcher. This guy's just telling the story however he wants to, isn't he? Mr. Hohenheim. Let me think. I don't quite remember what he looked like. Something like this, perhaps. Whichever the case. I was planning to censor his appearance anyway. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. Stop. Are you here to express your displeasure with me? A what now? If you are, do let me know from the get-go. I had a feeling that it was about time this would happen. 3 months, not a bad record for working within a workplace conflict. Or without a workplace conflict. Oh, if this is about quitting, then you will find a much better audience among Human Resources team. No, I mean, I'm just here to thank you for picking me, some dude from the back streets, to work here. I heard it was you who made the hiring decision. I don't know how to put this, but you're the only one who saw my, what's the word? Yeah, my potentiality. You saw something that no one else cared to look into before, you know what I mean? Ah, but it had nothing to do with something so grandiose like his potentiality. A wing does not hire people from the back streets for something so insignificant. Well, this information has never been publicly available. Lobotomy Corporation's primary criterion was trauma. Damn! Of course it was. Candidates with horrible insurmountable trauma were often favored by the company. And in an indirect way, it was only natural that they would begin to favor candidates who originate from the back streets. Your greetings are acknowledged, Jimmy. Now feel free to leave my office. I ain't Jimmy. Anyways, I've been meaning to ask, Mr. Hohenheim, why do you always enjoy being alone? It may come as a surprise to you, but I am very adept at spending my time all on my own. It is one of the hundreds of distinguishing features that set me apart from ordinary men. Say, don't you need someone to be like your loyal right-hand man? My right hand is doing just fine, thank you very much. Do you believe in potentialities, Hohenheim? What an unrelenting, stubborn employee he was, even in hindsight. Thanks to you, I do. I've been thinking, if I keep at it, one day I might even find myself living at large in a nest, changing my world little by little. Kinda like how a thing like me managed to snag a position here at Lobotomy Corporation. So, I'm thinking here that I want to stick around in your circle. To bring about such drastic changes to one's life is in the realms of feasibility for an exceptional researcher like myself, indeed. But you are, like most of the rabble, painfully average in most qualities, and therefore unlikely to be moving force in that change. I have no faith in universal things like potentialities. I have faith in myself and myself alone. Besides, I'm not very partial to mathematical statistics, like the probability theory anyway. So, I like to keep both my right and my left hands as my own. Have a nice day. Want to know something about me? I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really think about things. Action before deliberation. You get me? Thoughtless and carefree. Possibly the only merit to be found in those who originate from the back streets. Or was that a thinly veiled threat of physical assault? No. I'm talking about the new ammo that just got shipped here. It's a tricky one to manage, I'll tell you what. It reads your mind, screwing up all kinds of strategies or whatever, as long as it's based on hard logic. Want to shoot for the Department of the Year award together? You seem to be rather skilled in the art of transactions. One of the few merits found in those who originate from the back streets. I will admit, I suppose I was overcome by a certain ennui back then. And in hindsight, it was foolish of me to engage in such inane conversations. You left us. You left us. The remnants of my past come to haunt us. Perhaps it is I whom they truly wish to hurt. Yeah, Hohenheim is messed up. He's got, like, Nazi scientist vibes. Yeah, I did a bunch of messed up stuff, but now I'm working for the good guys, right? So it's fine. And, like, I have good vibes with this guy. I don't really know. Something tells me Limbus Company doesn't have the best interests in mind. But, I mean, who in the city does? Really?
점 찍었네.
5% chance.
완성된
Alright, yeah, we're good. Once you get over the first hurdle level, you're pretty much set. I love the glitchy effect. It's really great. Like the whole censoring idea, it's really good. It's finally here, the Department of the Year award. Indeed, I have finally done it. With some minor assistance from you, of course. And some other employees. Come on, admit it. Don't you notice that a lot more employees are saying hello, good morning, and what have you to you in the hallways compared to when your reputation was a bit, you know, So because I'm that just good, I'm just that good of a right-hand man. I will admit that your intuitive and spontaneous eye was of some assistance when it came to identifying certain observations among abnormalities. This is the potentiality I was talking about, man. Same thing you saw in me when you decided to get me on board. Apologies for ruining the moment, but the next few years quickly and busily flew by without much trouble. Of course, we picked up ourselves a few more Departments of the Year awards, some promotions, and some collaborative researchers. Yet, all things must come to an end. The infamous fall of Lobotomy Corporation, for one. You left us. So I don't suppose you have any trouble hazarding what they're all telling me, even as the words come out fragmented. You left us. Nothing but words of endless resentment. You left us behind. The fall of the former L Corp. The trumpets. I remember what Miss Yuri told us. The site crumbled in an instant, trapping the employees in there with the abnormalities. But what is the sound? The whole structure is quaking. What the hell is... Initiating site burial in 100 seconds. Any remaining employees must immediately evacuate the structure. Counting down. 95, 94. The escape pods at the surface are here. There's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes. Listen closely. At the risk of sounding rather callous, I must inform you that the chance of survival in cases of crisis such as these is usually granted only to a very small minority of those affected. Some, who prioritize the fairness of the process, may settle on primitive methods such as drawing lots to see who gets to escape, like Yuri's crew. And in more barbaric groups, the survivor would be decided by none other than the rule of might. However, I am glad to find myself among those who are on the side of intelligence. So I make this argument a suggestion before you. Compare yourselves, whose sole final purpose in life is clinging to your mediocre office jobs and making good on your debt payments, and me, who has produced several groundbreaking epochal theses and research results at an early age, whose life, in your eyes, is of greater worth. Yes, and that is how this tale ends. Compound collapsed 90 seconds later. I left the employees of my department behind and boarded the escape pod elevator and survived. How could you? Without a hint of remorse. Wrath is a hideous emotion. I am here today only because I have always maintained a cold, rational head. The Elcor branch within Hohenheim's Dungeon of the Fathoms began to crumble. It almost appeared as though his heart was crumbling as well. Well, now that's over with. I invite you to come face me, the distortion. And the experiment will come to an end. But just fighting and defeating his distortion in a fight, I don't think that'll bring him back. I just know it. I agree. We're still in deep waters here. This can't possibly be all there is to it. Damn. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. El Corp was really messed up. What's this? I need an icon. Yeah, Fey Lantern. Hey, what's up, Fey Lantern? Frick. Oh, no. I believe it's Midwinter Nightmare. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Midwinter Nightmare. Come on. Okay, please. Right on the money. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, baby. I know my trivia. Yeah, cool rupture. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Oof, I was a little on edge there. I didn't know if I remembered or not. Also, look, it cleaned up. Background. Oh, wow, look at you guys. Oh boy.
대가리 딱 떼고 꿰뚫려라.
Light them up. I should play the Bazaar. No, kind of out there and random, but I've been watching a lot of people play it and it looks really good. So I'm not sure my brain can do the kind of like build craft number calculations that other peeps can do, but like I can, you know, stumble my way through it, surely, right? Ah, there we go. Okay, hit him. And there we go. Very nice. I mean, with all the love they're giving Burn, I wouldn't be surprised if Burn is next on the docket, but for some reason my brain is telling me Rupture instead. Like I'm feeling Rupture. I think it's Rupture's time, you know, to finally have like a proper comp. That's not just, you know, frickin' Talisman Sinclair plus Rupture IDs. Oh god, it's this thing again. I didn't even clock it first. Nice. Okay. I'm not a big fan of these. Also, the sinking is not good. Not the biggest fan of them. Nice. Good stuff. Damn it. He's saying, come on. You had one job. Just don't roll tails. No wonder you're the weakest center. Okay. Gotta pop. Let's light him up. Hit him with that. What? 2 tails? Come on. At least she, you know, brought it back in the end, but geez. This should hurt. Nice. Good damage. Let's go. Great damage. Beautiful. Crow's eye view. Very ideal. There we go. There we go. Staggered. And goodbye. Alright, now pylon. Need this thing dead. Yesterday. Gregor can take it. It's fine.
모든 걸 거둬들일 순 없었어.
Nice. Good job. Okay, I can get him to stagger here. Hit him. This should do it. And there we go. There's the stagger. And now he's definitely done for. Gotcha.
완성되었나?
There we go. Let's do it. Hey, Gregor, my boy. Let's go.
거된 일이 있다면 다음
Regular operation gear. Limbus company identities.
찾아오라고.
Oh, cool. Gains 2 offense, +1, deals more damage. 3. Awesome. Wow. 4 Limbus company IDs among the backup units. 2 random allies. Interesting. So you could switch them to their Limbus company identities in the back line and then give 2 random allies offense up. That's kind of cool. I would not suggest ever running a team of the frickin' Limbus company because they're bad, but like, it's kind of cool that you can. Just in case.
라만 차량들을 뒤엎는다.
Alright. Let's do it. We had arrived at the entrance to Hohenheim's laboratory. This may be my final order to you. Either suppress me or return safe and sound to where you came from, or fail the suppression, place me in a containment unit, and perhaps we can observe what happens next. That's when Heathcliff suddenly strode forward. Hohenheim, you still believe in that potentiality? I do. That's what keeps me going. You only hire researchers from the back streets, don't you? I had her from earlier. They told me that you're a right pompous bloke, but thanks to you, they can continue to research and believe that there might be things in the world that's worth working toward. Oh. Heathcliff got to him. Whoa, look at this, bro. Wild. Alright. Trimmer. Okay. Trimmer and poise. Interesting. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and see what we've got here. Thankfully, we got like all lust. Amazing. Big damage. Oh, look at the effects. The effects are beautiful. We're getting stacks of subject observation, I assume from hitting him. Maybe the more we observe, the more damage we do. Makes sense. Thanks to me. It's like he's normal to everything. Yeah. Full shield. Not that it matters. But cool. 5% chance, by the way. Okay. Yep. Oh, you take more damage, so you deal more damage too. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
대가리 딱 떼고 엎드리도록.
Okay. Oh, it's unbreakable.
내 팔은 뼈에 있었어.
Owie. Hit him. Big hit.
합격장.
He's sucking up all her sanity, damn it. Damn it, 2 tails? Come on. There we go. Broke 1 shield at least. Broke 2. Broke 3. Alright. He's sucking up all the sanity. Oh, consume poison, deal damage. Trigger extinction sequence. Bruh. Oh god. Okay, well that kind of, you know, that's alright. Alright, that Odyssey better have a purpose. You know what happens. Let's go. Odyssey had a purpose.
여행엔 목적이 있었지.
Whoa. Still hits for 20? Exactly as I've seen. Manager safe. A few parts were that were censored. I concealed nothing from review. I don't believe I committed any wrong by saving the place alone, leaving others to be buried there. Of course. It may be reprehensible from a moral standpoint. Why would anyone ever look at it from that perspective, Manager? Especially when you are well aware that, in the city, such a perspective is entirely irrelevant and worthless. I feel his gaze on me. Like I said, this suppression is going well. This feels wrong. Like it shouldn't end like this. What should I tell him? What is Hohenheim trying to hide from us? What if you do feel like what you did was wrong? You're running from something? There's another side to the story that you haven't told me. Yeah, weaken the SP passive, please. Another side of my story, is it? Indeed, indeed. That is quite feasible. You are correct. That another side is what oft gets lost in the process of observing over spacious concepts like the fathoms and the heart. Speaking from a consequential point of view, perspective provided by one's memory is narrow by nature. Even in the fathoms, the deepest part of one's heart, where many beliefs lie and nothing is the empirical, absolute truth, we are still capable of lying. Fascinating, aren't we? They call it metacognitive error. Some call it unconscious bias as well. I see. You argue that the story I have shown you was simply a fabrication. Indeed. I have not shared any perspectives from my employees. There's no way by which we may verify them anyway. Isn't it obvious why that is? They're all buried underground. Bereaved even of their final words. I could finally understand, at least to some degree, what Virgilius and Don Quixote have been telling me. Though there was nothing left to call a human face, remaining in this distorted form, I still think I caught a glimpse of the loneliness from Hohenheim's expression. Turned it into self-doubt. Thank God. That was the one thing that really hurt. Uh-oh. That's not good. This isn't very good at all. He's gonna get staggered. Yeah, he's just gonna have to take it.
점 찍었네.
기다려라.
Nice, let's go. Big hit from me saying tons of damage. Look at all the bleed. Beautiful. Okay. Look, he lived it. Let's go. What a lad.
점 찍었네.
아류탄초 경연 육시 찢겨라.
필은
5% chances, by the way. Bruh. Could have staggered him. There we go. Let's pile on damage. We can get a lot of damage off here. Of course, I lose my top damage character. Oh well, Yisang's still here. And we have a Skull Basher. This will be a lot of damage.
점
Hit him. Yeah, weakest center. I think they've got it. Oh yeah, they totally got it. Let's go! Woo. Did it. That is a cool fight. That is a cool fight. I like it. Except for the SP frickin' stealing. That's not great. The escape pods of the surface are here, but there's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes. Look, I don't actually believe you hired me because you saw my potential or something like that. But I want to believe that you found the hope and potentialities because of me. A hope and anticipation that we can make things better as long as we keep at it. I can't leave you all behind. I can't just save my own skin not without everyone. This is what a right-hand man does, isn't it? Take my potentiality you found and rise. Take it with you to the surface. But you, Johan, what about you? Well, maybe next time. Some other time. Wrath is a hideous emotion. That is why I did nothing at the entrance of that branch. Only remembering nothing more. Remembering the ones I've left behind. I can sense the dungeon of the Fathom slowly beginning to close. Oh, so he did care. He did care. He was just completely, like, suppressing his own trauma. Ah, I've returned, safe and sound. Welcome back, boss. To be frank, I once wished to be someone like yourself, Heathcliff. What are you talking about? We don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff. We don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff. Because it's not easy to put my faith not in the games of numbers, but in those slimmest potentialities of the world and continue to exist. I know it's not very befitting a researcher to be so, but it is quite the romantic attitude for a human to embody, is it not? Well, the experiment is over. It was a huge success, all thanks to us, right? No, it was a failure. I had established this hypothesis that the sole answer was to hold a firm belief in the self and nothing else. Had my hypothesis been correct, I would have remained a distortion. Thus, I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you. Thank you for making me fail. It seems that the classification for my distortion was HE5SU. Disappointingly mediocre, but I don't suppose it can be helped. The world is a place where we must find the ray of potentiality among the mediocre, after all. He isn't even that bad. Like, what? You wanted a left? You wanted wah? Like, bro, come on. Get real. Let's move on for now. Mephistopheles is prepared to depart. Owenheim's researchers waved at us. We'll meet again, right? Ew, no thank you. Everything has an end, so do consider this to be our final meeting. Down to the last exchange, this guy. The last thing we saw before the portal activated were the LCE researchers pushing up their classes in our general direction. Though I'd only taken a step or two, the entire world around us seemed to transform, landing us back inside the transportation instrument. Now that I think about it, we didn't even get to learn why Gregor's bones made those cracking noises. All we learned from this experience is that the centers have all become mediocre, but they each held certain potentialities within themselves. Each of us mulling over the events at the LCE, we returned to the bus where Charon and Virgilius were waiting for us. Woo, we did it.
어버이를 향한 죄책감도
Oh man, I gotta go back and farm.
생각나지 않을 거다. 그러니
And also I got to... I had to redo this frickin' mission.
우리가 이룰 수 있는
Because God, getting... Okay, thank you, Don. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. This frickin' mission here, this one is so bad. So bad for doing damage. I'm gonna try and do it with like bleed and rupture and all that stuff, but that'll be for I win and for now. Probably not gonna have anything till the next intervallo, but you know, more kits to be had, more things like that, so we'll see. Of course, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all so much. I know it took me a while to get to this one, and I feel bad about that, but hopefully in the future it won't be as bad. Thank you all so much for joining me, as always. I do appreciate all the love and support. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye. And yay, whole numbers.